My name is Beverly. I'm sitting in my new office, looking at the blank gift tag framed on the wall. It's a silent reminder of a battle I fought and won, a battle against a family that took me for granted for far too long. It all started on a Christmas morning that shattered my illusions. I was at my family's home, surrounded by the festive atmosphere, but there was a coldness in the air for me. My father, Henry, stood in front of the Christmas tree, looking like a benevolent patriarch, handing out gifts to everyone in the room except me. My mother, Victoria, received a beautiful diamond necklace, and my younger sister, Lily, got a Gucci bag that she knew would be worth a fortune even before opening it. Her boyfriend, Ethan, also got a fancy leather briefcase with his initials embossed on it. I sat there, holding a cup of coffee that was slowly going cold, waiting for my name to be called. But it never came. I thought maybe there was a mistake, that there was a gift hidden somewhere. I even checked behind the tree, but there was nothing. When I finally asked if there had been a mix-up, my mother looked at me with disdain, as if I was an eyesore. "Why waste money on you?" she said coldly. "We only keep you around out of habit." Lily then looked me up and down and sneered, "You're not on our level." My father just adjusted his tie and told everyone to open their gifts before breakfast got cold. I forced a smile. Sometimes, smiling is the only way to hold on to your dignity when your own family tries to make you feel invisible. Then I stood up and walked out. My family had always been like this. Henry was a successful art gallery owner in the city. He loved to brag about his business as a family legacy, built on taste and sophistication. Victoria was a socialite, always attending high-end parties and charity events, boasting about raising a refined family. Lily was the face of the gallery on social media, posting pictures of expensive art pieces and trendy decor with captions about luxury and elegance. From the outside, we looked like a perfect, wealthy family. But inside, I was the odd one out. I worked in real estate investment and property management. I understood the ins and outs of contracts, market trends, and financial risks. My family always dismissed my career as a little paperwork job, just like people ignore oxygen until they're underwater. 6 years ago, Henry's art gallery was on the verge of collapse. A bad investment and a legal dispute with a landlord had put the business in a dire situation. I stepped in, not because they deserved it, but because I still hoped that by saving them, they would finally see me as an equal. I used the money from a successful deal in another city to buy the building where the gallery was located through a holding company. I cleared the debts, negotiated better terms with the vendors, and personally guaranteed a line of credit to keep the business afloat. Henry told everyone he had pulled off a miracle. Victoria called it a blessing, and Lily said it was proof that our family was resilient. But none of them ever bothered to understand what I had really done. They thought I was just helping with some paperwork. They never realized that the building was mine, that I was the one who had saved their business. For 6 years, they paid me next to nothing in rent. They ignored my hints about proper business arrangements and treated me like an unwanted guest. Every holiday, I was seated last, left out of family photos, and laughed at for my boring job. Christmas that year was not an isolated incident, it was just the first time they stopped pretending to be nice. The most hurtful part was not what my mother said, but my father's silence. He saw me sitting there empty-handed while everyone else was having a great time, and he chose to say nothing. It was as if I didn't matter at all. After I left on Christmas, I didn't cry. Instead, I got quiet, the kind of quiet that scares people. I drove back to my apartment, took off my coat, and sat at the kitchen counter. I started writing down all the expenses I had covered for the gallery over the past 6 years, property taxes, insurance, emergency repairs, and the line of credit renewal. I printed out the deed, the loan documents, and the trademark registration for the gallery, which my grandmother had transferred to me during the crisis because she didn't trust Henry to manage it properly. Then I called my lawyer, not the family lawyer, but my own. By Monday, she had prepared the necessary documents. I withdrew my personal guarantee for the gallery's inventory line. The month-to-month lease for the gallery would end in 30 days. Any unauthorized use of the gallery's trademark would result in legal action. And all future communication would have to go through my lawyer. I asked my lawyer to put the documents in a white gift box and send it to the gallery. On January 2nd, at 8:30 in the morning, the package was delivered to the gallery just as they were opening. Lily opened it and let out a scream. Victoria started shaking, and Henry grabbed his phone and started calling me. He called 3 times, then 6, then 12. By 9:05, he was in a full-blown panic, saying he couldn't reach me. I ignored all their calls. I listened to their voicemails, saved them, and forwarded them to my lawyer. At noon, Henry sent me a text saying the building couldn't be mine because he had built the business. I replied with "read the attachments carefully" and blocked his number. Lily posted a quote about betrayal on her Instagram story, and Victoria started calling our relatives, trying to frame me as unstable. Henry told the vendors I was having a breakdown and trying to extort him. But I didn't care. I had had enough of their lies and disrespect. A week later, one of the major vendors called my lawyer, asking if the gallery was going to lose the premises because of a family dispute. That's when Henry made his move. He had a lawyer send me a packet claiming that the building was always meant to be a family asset, that my company only held the title for tax reasons, and that the gallery had acquired rights through years of occupancy and investment. Attached to the packet were fake board minutes from a non-existent meeting, an internal memo I had never seen, and a forged signature that looked like mine. My lawyer immediately recognized it as a forgery. She called me and said those 2 chilling words, "they forged." I was shocked. I sat down at my desk and gathered all the evidence I had, metadata, email chains, financial records, and the original transfer from my grandmother. I was determined to fight back. My lawyer sent a demand to preserve all records, accused their lawyer of using defective documents, and filed for a declaratory judgment to confirm my ownership and trademark rights. The bank, upon seeing the dispute and the withdrawn guarantee, froze the gallery's credit line. 2 large art shipments were put on hold, and a local art blog started spreading rumors about the gallery's instability. Ethan called me one evening. He said he didn't want details, but he needed to know if Lily had lied to him about inheriting the gallery. I told him the truth, that Lily had been promised something that wasn't hers. 2 days later, their engagement photos disappeared from her Instagram. Henry then invited me to the gallery, saying he wanted to discuss a structured exit. When I arrived, Victoria, Lily, the family lawyer, and 2 senior staff members were there. Henry started talking about family legacy and the humiliation of being challenged by his own daughter. I told him I just wanted to be recognized as a part of the family. Victoria said this was all because I was being overly sensitive about Christmas. I asked the staff members if they knew the family had told me they only kept me around out of habit. The room went silent. The family lawyer then presented a proposed settlement. They wanted 18 months to stay in the building at a low rent, full use of the trademark, and a non-disparagement clause. In exchange, Henry would write a private letter acknowledging my contribution. I pushed the settlement back and said no. The hearing was a slow but satisfying humiliation for them. My side presented clear evidence of ownership and the forgery. Henry tried to talk his way out, but the judge cut him off and asked for real numbers. Lily couldn't give a proper answer when asked about representing the business as family-owned without clarifying the structure. In the end, the judge ruled in my favor. The building was confirmed to be in my holding company, I had the right to terminate the lease, and any unauthorized use of the trademark was prohibited. The forged document issue was referred for further review. After the hearing, Henry tried to convince me to change my mind, but I was firm. I said I just wanted to be treated like I existed. Over the next few weeks, the gallery started to fall apart. Vendors tightened their terms, a planned art exhibition was cancelled, and 2 staff members resigned. When the lease ended, I went to the gallery with my lawyer and a locksmith. The place was in a mess. There were missing inventory tags, damaged art frames, and mislabeled boxes. On the main table, there was a white gift box. Inside was a blank Christmas tag with a note from Lily that said, "Some things never change." I almost laughed. Even after everything, they still thought I was the problem. I sold the building 4 months later to a real estate developer for more than Henry had ever estimated the gallery's worth. I retired the gallery's trademark and licensed some of the art archives related to my grandmother's collection. People in the city talked about what happened. Some said I was ruthless, while others said Henry had it coming. But it was never about the money or the gifts. It was about respect, about being treated as an equal in my own family. My father sent me 3 letters over the next year. The first said I had destroyed the family. The second said he hoped I was satisfied. The third asked why I had become so cold. I didn't answer. Some questions don't deserve answers, they deserve to be remembered. I built a new firm focused on real estate disputes and asset restructuring. It's a niche market, but I'm good at it. And every time I look at that blank gift tag on the wall, I'm reminded of the cost of waiting for people to acknowledge what they owe you. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. Blood doesn't always mean love, proximity doesn't mean respect, and being tolerated is not the same as belonging. I was never meant to stay in the shadow of my family, and now I've found my own light.